session. And I want to say good morning, everybody, and welcome to this session for using Zoom for our BERT meetings. So originally, we had this session for 3 participants, Skip and Daryl and Prentice. They wanted to learn how to be able to use Zoom for our BERT meetings. And then I thought, well, we can also open it up to the other members and see if they'd like to observe and be able to learn at the same time. We're going to be covering several things, and I posted the agenda. It might be a little hard to read right now unless you pin me. So we have welcome, and then I'll be talking about the things that you need to be able to be a Zoom host. And then we are going to be talking about how to set up a poll for when we do our best table topics, best speaker, and best evaluator polls for the club. How to be able to create breakout rooms. During the break, speakers and evaluators need to have a private space to talk about their speeches, and the Zoom host takes care of that. We'll be going through that as well. And then finally, we're going to be talking about managing participants. As the Zoom host, you're responsible for the efficient and smooth input and outflow of guests as they come in. So we'll be covering that as well. I'm hoping we could finish in an hour. That is my goal, to finish in an hour. So what I would like to ask is, if you have questions, you know, if it's a question that can wait until the end, there will be some time for Q&A at the end, but I will also be monitoring the chat. If you want to post your question in the chat, I can read it, and then I'm going to try and figure out a way to incorporate the answer into what I'm currently talking about. So I'm hoping to be able to address all of your questions today. And because a lot of our members are going to be watching the recording, so if you have any questions, chances are other people have the same questions. So I invite you to ask those questions on their behalf. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with the requirements. I sent out an email that said that if you're going to be a Zoom host for our meetings, then you're going to have to be doing 3 things. The first is be a Zoom host from a desktop or a laptop. You're not going to be able to do the same things off of the mobile version of Zoom. So I wanted to ask our participants, Skip, Daryl, and Prentice, just confirming you guys are working from a laptop or a desktop right now?
Laptop.
Yep, laptop.
Fantastic, wonderful. Okay, great. Now the next thing that you're going to need is you're going to need the BERT Zoom host login information. You're going to be given administrator privileges. And for that to happen, you need to have our login information. So what I'm going to do is I am going to first pause the recording, and then I am going to share that login information with you, just so that we can keep it private, since we're going to share this recording afterwards. And then we can just tell the members to contact me or Sean or any of the past Zoom hosts for that login information. So I'm going to pause the recording right now. All right, now I've resumed the recording. So those who are watching the recording after the session is over, please contact me or Brad or any of the officers to find out what the BERT login information is to be able to log in as a Zoom administrator. So now you have the Zoom administrator login and password. The next thing that you need is the Zoom client, which is an app that you install onto your computer. And what will, Priya's having technical problems, will be joining us soon. Okay, perfect. So I wanted to ask our participants, Skip, Daryl, and Prentice, do you guys have the Zoom app downloaded to your machine?
Yes.
That's the email you sent around yesterday where you downloaded from your email, right?
That is correct. That is correct.
Right, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Wonderful. And then what I'm going to do is, once you've downloaded and installed it, I'm going to show you how to launch it. Now I'm using Windows, so if you're on a Mac, it might look a little bit differently. So you may have, I don't know what the equivalent is for Mac, so you may have to use your Mac skills to launch it on your end. So what I'm going to do is I am going to share a different screen this time. Actually, I'm going to share my first screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first let Priya in. Now, when you're in your desktop, the easiest way to launch Zoom is to go down here to the search bar and then just type Zoom. That will pull up the Zoom app, and you can just click on open to open your Zoom app. So this is what the logo looks like. So on the Mac, it probably looks a little bit different. Now, when you launch it, it's going to look like this. Sign in, and this is where you enter brentwoodearlyrisers@gmail.com and then our password. And then once you sign in, once you click sign in, this is what it's going to look like. And I'm not sure if you're going, are you seeing the Zoom dialog box right now? Okay, perfect. So you're going to be seeing all of these buttons. This is how you know you're logged in as Brentwood Early Risers Toastmasters. You've got the little BERT logo up here on the upper right-hand corner. And just for future reference, if you ever need to update your Zoom client, you would click on that icon and check for updates is down here. So you can Zoom does updates very often. So if you want to update your Zoom client, you just click on that logo and then you click check for updates. So now you have the Zoom app loaded. There's one more thing you need to do. If you're going to be an admin, you have to launch a browser. So I'm going to open my browser here. I use Chrome. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to resize it so that you can see everything on your screen. So let me minimize the chat and the participant window just to kind of show you where I am. So the way that I've done it on my screen is that I've resized the Zoom window as to occupy about half the space. And then at the bottom part is the Chrome or your browser. You want to leave space to open the chat window and the participants window, because you're going to be paying attention to guests that are coming in, and you're going to have to pay attention to the chat as well. So I wasn't kidding when I said you're going to be doing a lot of multitasking. You're going to be juggling a lot when you're the Zoom host. So let's say that this is the layout that we're going to use for the rest of the session. The last thing you need to do is you need to log into Zoom on the Zoom website. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to type zoom.us. You're going to go to the Zoom website, and one of the choices is sign in. You click on sign in, and it's going to ask you to log in the same way. Let me resize this just a second so you can see. It's going to ask you to sign in, and you enter the same username and password, and then you click on the sign in button. And you'll know you're logged in when you see our little logo, our Toastmasters logo, there on the upper right-hand corner. Now, why am I asking you to log in on the website as well? Because when you create polls, this is where you have to edit them. You have to edit them on the browser. You're not able to edit from within Zoom. You can just launch a poll. If you want to create a poll, you have to go inside the web browser. Any questions so far?
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, a lot of questions, but I'm not going to worry about them right now.
Now, just a question, Cecil, you can use the Brentwood Early Risers Zoom account login to log in both the app and the browser. So you can basically have two sessions using the same ID and password. Is that correct?
That is correct. That was one of the questions I had is it possible for two people to be logged in to BERT at the same time using the same account? And what I found on the Zoom support website was that you can log into the same Zoom account on one computer, one iPad, and one phone, I think. You're allowed to be you're allowed to log in into those three different devices. If another person logs in with their computer, you're going to get kicked out.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. So if Brad, for example, logs in as the Brentwood Early Risers as the Zoom host, it's going to kick me out of the app. It's going to say you're logged into a different device.
Mhm.
So that's the answer to that. You can only have one person logged in as the Zoom host at any one time. Yes, Karen.
So there's one official host, and it's through the host who can create a co-host.
Correct. Yes.
And
Okay. Yes, that's a really good question. Co-hosts are a great way to get support. If you're a little bit nervous about being the host, you can always ask for help. The co-host has more permissions than a normal participant. Not as much as the host, but they can help launch breakout rooms. They can help monitor and manage participants, things like that. And you can assign as many co-hosts as you want. And the way to do that is, for example, if I wanted Karen to be a co-host, I would just hover my mouse over here to that 3 dots. And one of the options says make co-host. So you can do that. All right. If there are no other questions, let's move on to the next skill. With the first of the actual skills, actually setting up polls. So we use polls in BERT if we want to vote for the best table topic speaker or the best speaker and best evaluator. So let's say you're the Zoom host and you want to launch a poll. Let me call your attention to some of the tools down here. You probably already noticed that there are a lot of tools that you don't normally see as a participant. These are the additional controls that you have when you're a Zoom host, when you're a Zoom administrator, and one is being able to launch polls. So let's say you want to launch, we just finished the table topic section and you want to get the polls ready. So you click on polls. And did everybody see the pop-up with the polls? Okay, perfect. So it says here, polling 1 speaker. And then you have here, who is your choice for best speaker of the day? Now, so this is for the prepared speech part. So, well, I wanted the table topics one. Where do I get it? You pop this little arrow, this down caret, pop that down, and you get to choose some of the now these are polls that we already created in the past. So that's why they're still there. It remembers it. It's tied to our Zoom room number. So you have speaker, evaluator, and table topics. So let's say you were voting for table topics. So who is your choice for best table topic speaker of the day? And you'll probably notice that the people that are in here were the ones from last meeting. We had Catherine, we had Tony, we had Karen, we had Daniel. So now you are the Zoom host. We're in a new meeting. You got to change these options. So what are you going to do? You would click on, yeah, Karen. Oh no, what are we going to do? You would click on edit. Once you click on edit, you'll notice that the browser, actually, let me resize this and move this out of the way for a bit. Oh, no. The browser will change. It says here, personal room, and then there's a link called poll. You click on poll, and these are all the polls we have today. Poll 1 speaker, evaluator, table topics. So we're changing the table topics choices. Right now we have 4 choices. We're going to change it. So you click on edit. This is where you would change it. So for example, let's say it was someone else. You can just click on it and just type, change it, for example. So Brad would be 1, and then you can have Daryl is 1, and we can have Prentice. And let's say you only had 3 table topic speakers. So you can just close this and you would have 3 choices. If you want to add some more, you click on the names and, you can click add option, and that will add another blank for someone. So I could add Priya, for example. Now, something that you want to make sure that you do is you want to make sure that the polls, the anonymous checkbox is checked. Otherwise, you're going to see who voted for whom. So you want to keep our polls anonymous. You make sure that that's checked. and then you click on save. And now you'll see that the table topics choices have changed. So you have Brad, Daryl, Prentice, and Priya. Now, as a Zoom host, you're going to have to kind of be quick about going back and forth, because what some people like to do is, as someone is speaking, they start typing the names. Okay, this person spoke first, Brad spoke first. So as Brad is answering the table topics question, I'm typing Brad. And then Daryl has his turn, I type Daryl. And then Prentice has his turn, I type Prentice. And then Priya has her turn, I type Priya. And then we find out that Priya went over. Oh no, Priya went over, so she's really not going to be included in the voting. So you go back to edit. Well, I was already there. Okay, poll. And then I go back, table topics. And then essentially what I would do is I would click in here and I would just remove Priya. And then save. So now when you're ready to launch, so you have the right choices. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch the poll. And then everyone on your screens, you're going to get the choices. And once you start voting, the Zoom host is going to be able to see who the winners are. So you just go ahead, pick any name, it doesn't really matter. And you can see over here, attendees are now viewing questions. You have 5 of 7 have voted, 7 of 7, 100% of the members have voted. So you're done, and you say Daryl wins. Okay, but you're not going to say that. You're going to have to send a private message to the Toastmaster of the day. So you end the polling. It tells you who wins. Do not click on share results, then everyone will know who won before you tell the Toastmaster of this. So just remember that it's Daryl. So what you would do is, now that you know that it's Daryl, you can close the poll and then send a message to, let's say Brad. Well, let's say Brad was the Toastmaster of the day. Send a direct message to Brad and say Daryl won the table topic. So now the Toastmaster of the day, Brad, knows that when it comes time to do the awards, he'll be able to say that Daryl won the table topics contest. Any questions? It's pretty intense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in a little bit of interactivity. Let me move my camera out of the way for a second here. Oh, well, no, you're going to need the camera. Okay, never mind. I'm going to give Daryl remote control of my screen. So I'm going to resize this just a little bit, as much as I can. And I'll resize this so it's a little bit bigger. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. All right. Daryl, I'm going to give you remote control of my screen. So you'll be able to drive my computer.
Okay.
And try and see if you can launch a poll for best evaluator. See if you can edit the names. Where would you go?
Okay. Best evaluator.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where? Okay, wait a minute.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
right.
So we're doing yes. And then evaluator, you got it. And then edit. Woo-hoo-hoo.
And then I go here.
Yes, sir.
And here.
Yep.
And
And then just pick 2 other names. And ooh, you're adding an option.
yes.
Or
Is it-
not. Yes,
add
you can do that.
question?
Yep. Add option means you add another person to vote for.
Okay.
Hyphen.
All right. And one more.
Ooh, getting fancy here.
We had a lot of speakers this day.
Wonderful. So now you've got 4 options, and then when you're ready, you launch the poll. Everyone else will get that poll, and go ahead and vote for somebody so you can see how many people are voting. And sometimes you'll notice that some people haven't voted and it's taking a long time. But you can kind of tell that, you know, the direction that the vote is going, that another vote won't make a difference either way. So you can actually kind of make that call. So, okay, we've got 100% people voting, so you can go ahead and end the poll. And it tells you that CJO won, and you can close that. And then you would just type a direct message to Brad, letting them know that CJO won the best evaluator slot. So you don't have to do that, since we're familiar with the chat window. So I'm going to go and take control back.
Cecil, I saw at the top of the polling, it was counting down.
Yes, that's correct.
So is that something that the host can set as a timer for themselves? Or does it automatically start at 1 minute and counts that backward, counts down to 0?
I think the countdown that you're referring to is the countdown of the number of people that still need to vote.
Okay. I thought I saw 32 and seemed like it was counting backwards, counting down.
Well, let's see. Let me launch a different poll. Let me go get the one that we haven't done yet, speaker. So if I launch the poll, so are you talking about this part? Oh, you mean this one?
All right. So once I voted, it seemed like I saw. All right, let me vote. Let's see.
Okay. So it says here 2 of 7 have voted, which is 28%. 42%.
Yeah, look right above. 18, 19.
It's going
yes,
forward.
This is a timer essentially.
Okay.
So it shows you how long the poll has been open.
Okay, I thought it was counting backwards. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Does it automatically close at a certain time? Or that's good.
I have not seen a setting that will do that. I think we have to end the polling manually.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can just close. So that's polling. Any questions about polling? No.
So I put a question in the chat.
Oh, you did. Okay. Sorry, I saw the chat's so small on my end right now.
Oh, well, I'll read it. I think if you are a co-host, I don't think you can edit the polls because only the host can log into the BERT account on the browser.
Yes, I believe you're correct. Only the host can log into the Zoom account on the browser. The co-host can launch a poll, but can't edit a poll.
Yeah, because that happened to me during a meeting where the host had to leave, gave me co-host, left the meeting, and I said, I can't do anything.
Okay, I want to address that question. So let's say the host leaves. You're the co-host, and the host leaves. Now nobody's the host. I think the newer versions of Zoom allow the host to, if the host leaves, for example, if I click on end, I'm not going to, but if I click on end and I say leave, it's going to prompt me, who do you want to make the host before you leave? So it does that now. But there's also another way to do it. There is such a thing as a host key. And the way to do that is, oh no, it's gone. Oh, since I'm the host, it won't come up for me. But if you click on if you were a co-host, you click on the 3 dots in the participants window, it's going to say claim host, and you have to enter a specific 6-digit key, and that will give you host control. And I know what I know what our host key is. I just can't remember right now. I can give it a little bit later. Okay, so just time check. It is 9:30. Let's just move right along. We still have to go for breakout rooms and do manage participants. So the breakout rooms is what we do when we want to, during the break, put a speaker and an evaluator together so that they can discuss the objectives of the speech while everyone else goes on break. So to put people into breakout rooms, this is the button that you would use. There's breakout rooms down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize, I'm going to make this bigger because we won't need the browser right now. Actually, let me go ahead and minimize this. There we go. So you would click on breakout rooms. Once you click on the breakout rooms button, you're going to get this option, create blank breakout room. So what number do you put in there? The number of pairs that you have. So you have 3 speakers, 3 evaluators, you create 3 breakout rooms. You have 2 speakers, 2 evaluators, you create 2 breakout rooms. So let's say we do 2 breakout rooms, and you want to choose assign manually because you want to be able to pick and choose who goes to which breakout room. So you assign manual and you click on the create button. And you're going to see room 1 and room 2. You can still add a room if you decided that, ooh, I made a mistake, I want 3 rooms. You can just click on add room. But let's take a look at room 1. So let's say Skip is the speaker and then Karen is the evaluator. So you want to pair them together in this room. You click on assign. It's going to give you a list of everyone that's in the meeting right now. So you want to put Karen and Skip together. So it's going to say here, room 1, Karen and Skip Malone. Now for room 2, let's say you have Sijo and Priya will be the speaker and the evaluator. So you assign them to these rooms. When you do, after you do that, another important thing to do, don't just open the rooms, don't open the rooms just yet. You want to click on options over here because we need to have the rooms close after a certain amount of time. This is where you would set it. These are your choices. You want to make sure these boxes are checked. Allow participants to return to the main session at any time because sometimes they finish early and they want to rejoin the main room. So make sure that they have the ability to do that. Automatically move all assigned participants into breakout rooms. This just saves a step on their end because if you don't check that, it's going to pop up a thing that says, oh, you want to go to your breakout room now? Then you have to click yes. So this just throws them into the breakout room automatically. Breakout rooms close automatically after 2 minutes. So this is where you put in the amount of time that you have. So let's say the break is 7 minutes. We usually have it for 7 minutes. What you would do is you would put in 6 minutes. What I usually do, you can play it however you want. What I do is I do 6 minutes and do a 1 minute countdown. Because when you go into a breakout room, in the last minute, they're going to see a countdown timer in front of their screen that says breakout rooms will close automatically in 60 seconds, 59, 58, 50. So people know that they have to start wrapping up. So you want the total of this and this to be the number of time, the amount of time for your break. So if you have a 5 minute break, you want to make that 4 minutes and a 60-second timer. Does that make sense? Okay. So once you've done that, you click on open all rooms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on open all rooms. Karen, Skip, Priya, and Sijo are going to be automatically moved into a breakout room. And once you guys get into your breakout room, please just click leave breakout room and rejoin us. You don't have to wait for the whole time to you don't have to wait for the timer to get to the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and click open all rooms. And
actually, Cecil, they might want to stay in the room just a bit so you can show how you, the host, can jump into the room. Maybe.
Oh, well, I'm not going to be able to until I open the.
Yeah, you have to keep them in the room so that you can, and then for the recording, you can show how the host can jump in.
Oh, I see. I'm not sure if it will record the breakout session though, but we'll see.
It's tricky.
So,
okay.
Yeah, that is tricky. Well, let's see what happens. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to click on open all rooms. So it says all participants have been invited to join breakout rooms. So now, oh, there it is. Yeah. So now they're in the breakout rooms. you have the option to join the rooms. Let's say someone asks for help. Let's say Karen asked for help, or you just want to go and visit. You would click on join, and that will allow you to join their breakout session. And over here, you can see the people who are unassigned, and that's the people who are left in the main room. So that's Brad, and there's Daryl, and there's Prentice. And if you want to, you can assign, let's say Prentice, I can assign Prentice to join room 1 or room 2. You have that option as well.
And how does the broadcast message to all feature work?
Broadcast message to all means you're sending everyone a text message. Message all rooms. Come on back, guys. Broadcast. All of the rooms now get that message. Now they're going to be coming back.
Maybe.
Maybe. Fingers crossed. There we go. Hey, welcome back, Joe.
Yeah, I thought you're gonna come and call me back.
Well, I was able, so now I'm not closing this this dialog box yet, because this is what you're going to see. Once you put people into breakout rooms, you have the capability to join each of the breakout rooms by clicking on the join text right here. And then I also explained that you can send a text message to all of the rooms by clicking on broadcast message to all. So that's how I sent you the message, come on back. And that's how you guys came back. So that is how you use breakout rooms. And I think everyone is back. All right, so I will go ahead and close all rooms. And I can just close this. And see, when you click on close all rooms, all participants have been given 60 seconds to leave their breakout room. So anyone that's stuck in a breakout room will have that, now they're having that countdown. All right, any questions?
And Cecil, after you close the rooms, we
Yes.
still have 60 seconds based on what you just said. I know when you set the timer up, I set it for
Right.
5 minutes, second countdown. So as the host at the 6-minute mark, I can close the rooms and they still have 60 seconds inside that room.
That is correct. Well, that depends on that setting where you said 60 seconds. It could be 30 seconds. It could be 15 seconds.
Okay.
Yes, for however long. Yes.
Okay.
Like you said. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. It's 9:38. I think we have time for someone to jump in and try and throw people into the breakout room. So what I'm going to do is, Prentice, would you like to throw people into the breakout room?
Yes.
Okay,
Let
I'm
me
going
try.
to give you, okay, I'm going to give remote control. Let me make this bigger so you have more space to play with. Remote control, give it to Prentice. All right, Prentice, you're driving.
So first, I go to the breakout rooms,
Yes, sir.
and then the number of breakout rooms. Let's see, I'm in the breakout room. All righty, so at this point,
Oh, is it okay if I take over just, well, you know what?
Yes.
Maybe you can do it. What if you click on recreate? Click on the recreate button.
I don't see, all right, where's the recreate? Right here?
Yes, sir.
All right, recreate.
There you go.
All right, great. So I'm gonna do 3 rooms.
Okay.
We got 3 rooms.
Yeah.
They assigned manually, so
That's correct.
I'm going to see this open all rooms.
Recreate.
Create button. I hit the recreate button.
There you go.
Then I hit assign.
So
So
pick 2 people.
I hit options, right? So we see the automatic hit options. Make sure you click all boxes, breakout room, close off. Okay, I'm sort of lost right now. So,
Okay. So which part would you like some more guidance on? Assigning people or in the options?
All right, so I'm in the room. So I'm in breakout room 1. So
You want to assign people to breakout room 1?
right.
Okay, click on assign.
Assign.
Yes. Now choose who is going to be in breakout room 1.
So I go over here and choose, right?
You can just click on the
Oh,
boxes.
here we go.
There you go. Yeah.
We'll make it easy. And Daryl.
Okay. All right. So Brad and Daryl are assigned to room 1. Who do you want to assign in room 2?
So assign in room 2. See, I'm
Uh-huh.
losing the name. This was work. So I'm losing my names.
Okay. Try if you just click on the assign, and usually once you click on assign, the names pop up. You don't have to hold down the button.
Okay.
There you
So
go.
Karen.
Uh-huh. And then assign. There you go. You go see Joe and Skip. There you go.
After I assign, I hit options.
Yeah. And this is where you would change any of the settings.
All right. So the set is going to be automatically set in there because y'all already have them preset, correct?
For right now, yes, the way it was set last time. But the length of our breaks differ from meeting to meeting. So you
Right.
still have to go into options and just edit how many minutes are going to be in there. But so how do you want to change it?
I'm going to go 5 minutes
Okay.
with a 30-second countdown.
30 seconds. Okay.
So I guess I had the drop down button. Is that a drop down?
Yes, sir.
So we'll go 30 seconds.
Perfect.
And then after I do that, I make sure check out box to breakout room, close automatically, set countdown. And then I go, I'm missing a set. I'll
Open all rooms. That's exactly right.
Yeah, open
Yeah.
all room. All
That'll
right.
kick everyone into their rooms. Yep.
Okay.
There you go. And so each member is now getting a message. So now look, Prentice, people are leaving. You're putting them into the room.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Wonderful. So you can see that now there are green lights next to each person's name. So that means they have successfully joined the breakout rooms.
Okay.
So let's say you want to send them a message, come back. So that's exactly right. Yep. And then that's right. And then broadcast. There you go. So now everyone's gotten a message to come back. They're going to start coming back in.
Okay. Then I close all rooms.
Yes, you can do that too.
Okay.
Then all breakout rooms will close in 27, 26, 25. So you can see that the setting that you chose, 30 seconds, now it's counting down.
Okay.
They're coming back. That's awesome, Prentice. You did it.
Phew. I go. I'm okay. Thank you. Hit option.
Sure. Yay, Prentice did it. How awesome is that? Okay, I'm going to regain control of the screen.
Okay.
Awesome. Wonderful. Any questions about breakout rooms? Yes, Skip, you're on mute.
Just a comment, a little minor, very minor thing I ran into just then, but it almost threw me for a loop when me and Cijo were on there and we said, no, come back to the room. I had not gone full screen. I just had the little vertical thing there, which does not show leave room. So in order to leave room and go back to the main room, you have to go full screen. I found out.
Oh, so you can see the button that allows you to be able to.
Right. Of course, what I should have done, I see now, I should have hit full screen immediately when Cijo and I came on there.
Yeah, that does help, but that's a good thing to remember. I'm glad you're mentioning that in the recording, so people who watch this recording will know that that's something that people might run into. I can't find the leave room button, so they might ask for help. And as a Zoom host, you know, okay, maximize your screen so you can see the button to be able to leave the room. Or you can also bring them back manually. That's another option as well. All right, we have one more thing. Yes, ma'am.
Quick question. To help, especially to help Zoom masters who aren't as proficient as yourself, is it going to be beneficial if one of the very first things we do in a meeting, once we're pretty sure we have all the speakers and evaluators here, is to go ahead and make the matches so that the Zoom person can do all this in the background? Now, they wouldn't open the meeting or open the rooms until the proper time, but at least all the matches would be made.
That's a great idea, and certainly something that you can do. Like if you know, if the agenda is pretty set and you know who the pairs are going to be, you know how many speakers and how many evaluators, you can go ahead and set up the number of breakout rooms, and you can pre-assign them already. You know how sometimes before the break, they'll ask, okay, Mr. General Evaluator, could you tell us who's going to be evaluating whom? And while the general evaluator's talking, you're already clicking breakout rooms and you're already assigning. And then when you go on, and then when you go on break, you can just open all rooms. Yes, Brad.
In fact, I actually used that feature during the contest, our club contest, because we had a fixed agenda and had everyone there. What I did find out, however, once I opened up the rooms, everything worked great, closed the rooms, all the settings were lost after that, I believe, and you got to recreate them again.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, I created the 3 rooms, but the assignments were lost. I'm sorry, the assignments were lost. So there were one time you can set them up in advance for one time, I think.
Oh,
I'm trying to recall this from memory, but I think that's what happened.
Okay. I didn't know that. We've never really had to put people back in the same room before.
Yeah.
So that's really useful information. Thank you.
Yeah.
I did. So that's something that we may have to prepare ourselves to do again. If we need to put people back in the same room, we may have to reassign them back into the room.
Might be worth testing that out a little bit more just to see how that works. But anyway, that was my experience.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Any other questions about breakout rooms? Nope. We have one more thing, and it's a walk in the park compared to polls and compared to breakout rooms. This is managing participants. Now, typically when you are a participant, I'm going to change the windows just for a second. So this is the window that we have. And as a participant, sometimes you just turn on the chat so you can see the chat happening on the right side of the screen. When you're a Zoom host, you want to also pop up the participants window, and you see the button down here where it says participants. Right now it says 8. So you know that there are 8 people in the room right now, but you don't really have access to certain things until you click on participants. What that's going to do is that on the upper right-hand corner, it's going to pop up the participants window. So you have the host, also me, Brad, Daryl, Karen, Prentice, Priya, Sijo, Skip. So you have all of the participants. If there are more, there's going to be a scroll bar here. Now, as a Zoom host, one of your responsibilities is to let guests in from the waiting room. So because we have guests that join our meeting sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join through my phone. And I'm going to show you what happens when someone tries to join our meeting. You're going to hear, you're going to see this waiting room 1, and it says there CC/guest, and you have 2 choices. You can admit them into the meeting, or you can kick them out. So in this case, you want to admit them. So you want to have the participants window open all the time, because you never know when someone is trying to join. So now you have a guest that wants to come in, click on admit, and that would be me joining from my phone. So Skip. So now you can see here that CC/ here is a guest. Actually, let me go ahead and put in the audio. Oops. Okay. Mute this so don't have feedback. So now, as a Zoom host, you have the power to mute somebody or unmute somebody or turn their camera off or on, which is something that you may have to do if, for example, someone forgets to mute themselves and someone else is talking and the other person's background noise is a little bit too distracting for everyone else. So you'll see here, I am going to, I can't do me. Karen, would you be willing to take yourself off mute for a second?
Sure.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Skip, I'm going to give you control of my screen. Okay, and I'm going to ask you, can you mute Karen? What you would need to do is you would need to go to Karen's name in the participants window, and you see how the microphone, there's a little microphone icon there. Click on the mic so that you can mute her. Oh, that's another way too. I didn't even see that. Yes, that's another way too. Just go to her window. Right now, there's on the upper right-hand corner of Karen's screen, there is a mute button. There it is. Yes, click on mute. And you will see that Karen is now muted. And you can also unmute her if you hover over, yep, the same thing, and just click unmute. There. So now you can do that. Skip, you're on mute.
Yeah, I got a question on that. Before I went the regular route just then, you said there was another way. I still haven't figured out where the other way to do it. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. The other way is to go over here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to take off. I'm going to regain control. Okay. I'll remove. Oops. Okay. So this is where you would go here, over on this screen.
Uh-huh.
So you can mute her from there as well. So that's another way to do it.
Okay. All right.
And this is another reason why you want to have the participants window open, because you have more options here. So you can stop her video, you can pin her video, spotlight the video, make her a host, make her the co-host, rename her. Remember when Brenda sometimes would have her name as Brentwood Early Risers Toastmasters, and she wasn't quite sure how to rename herself? This is how you could do it. You could rename someone else for them. You could allow them to record their video. If you have someone who wants to record their speech, you could give them permission to record their video, their speech, and it would save on their own computer. And then you can put them back in the waiting room. You could kick them out. So what I'm going to do is, Cijo, I'm going to give you remote control. Why don't you, I'm still here as a guest. My phone is still here as a guest. Kick me out. Kick that part out. Okay, kick me as a guest out. Did you get the? There should be a message asking you to control my screen. Because right now it says waiting for Cijo to control your screen. Do you want me to resend it, or you got it? Do you want me to try re-inviting you? Take control of the screen. Okay. What I'm going to do, Cijo, is I'm going to take it back, and then I'm going to re-invite you. We'll do it. We'll try it one more time. I'm going to give you, Cijo, control of my screen. So there should be a message should pop up on your screen saying, I'm inviting you to take control of my screen. Do you see that? Do you see that message? Not working?
Why don't you take Cijo off mute? You can respond.
Oh, that's a good idea. There you go. Hey, Cijo, is it working?
Yeah. No, I can see the message that you can control the Brentwood Daily Rise Toastmasters.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you are. You're controlling. There you. Now you're controlling my screen.
Okay. My screen is get reduced. I'm trying to make it bigger.
Oh, I see. I see. Gotcha. Okay, so see if you can kick out my cell phone from the meeting, the CC/guest from the participants window. I can't see the mouse.
I can see. I'm just trying to.
There you are. There you are. Okay, I see you now.
Participants.
Yep, getting there, getting there. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, and then remove. Okay, now before you click on, hold on, don't click on remove yet. Uncheck report to Zoom, please. Don't report me to Zoom. Please uncheck report to Zoom. There you go.
Ooh.
Now you can kick me out. I want to get an email from Zoom.
Oh,
Wonderful. Okay, great. So now you've picked out someone else. So I'm going to regain control of the screen. So this is where you can manage people who come into the meeting. And if you've probably heard about Zoom bombers, people who jump into the meeting, share, but just being a nuisance, and you got to kick them out. And that would be a way to do it. You would just click on remove. And what we've done in our administrator settings is that we've prevented people who've been kicked out to come back in the same meeting room at that particular time. So that doesn't happen. That's never happened yet. But knock on wood. But you want to be, as the Zoom host, you want to be able to know how to be able to kick someone out if you have to. Skip,
Hey,
you have a question?
Yeah, Cecil, one thing I've never understood, and I was very early in the pandemic, I was in a church meeting that got Zoom bombed bad. And what I don't understand is how can a person get into a meeting? I mean, they have to be admitted. The host has to admit you. Well, usually the host knows the people that are going to be participating. Not always, but usually. How does that happen? I don't understand how that happens.
At the beginning of the pandemic, it wasn't an automatic thing where people get moved into a waiting room. That was a setting that you had to turn off and on. So maybe at that particular point, and another thing that you can set is a password. Sometimes you share a link to our Zoom room and there's no password. That allows people to be able to just jump into and join any room. That's why we have a password for our BERT meetings. That way we know that when someone is a guest and we give them the password, it's not just some random person wanting to join our meeting. They would have to know the password. But even then, you don't know who's joining the meeting. They could still have our password and still disrupt the meeting. So you still, as the Zoom host, want to be able to have the capability to kick them out in case you have to. So it's a setting thing that would be indicated on the browser version of the administrator window. I think Skip froze. I think so. Oh, and he's gone. Oh no, yeah, he's back. Does that answer your question, Skip? Oh, you're on mute. Wait, maybe I can unmute you. There you go.
Or was it just me?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Did everybody freeze just then, or was it just me? I froze.
Yeah, yeah, it was just you, Skip.
Because I got a weak internet connection here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the good news is we're done. We're done. We still have one more minute. So if you have any questions, does anyone have any questions about being a Zoom host? Any questions you think other members might have? No?
I think you raised the point about when you get started, bring that participants window up, bring up the chat window up, just as Cecil is showing right there, then you're all ready to monitor everything that's going on in the meeting that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And something that I do myself, I don't know if this is a setup that would be feasible for you. Instead of putting it all in one screen, like I was demonstrating earlier, I have two separate monitors. So one monitor has the Zoom meeting, the other monitor has the browser. So I don't have to scrimp on monitor space. I just throw the settings to a second monitor, and that way I can manage the screen. Now, one last thing that I wanted to show you. Not everything that we talked today is going to be there's going to be a lot of other things that you may have questions about. And I want to show you that if you have any questions about Zoom, like if you forget, well, what does this mean and how do I do this? You would click, if you go to the web, or the website, the Zoom website, there is a link here that says support. If you have any questions, you click on the help center and you type what you want more information about. This gives you a lot of great information. So if you want breakout rooms, for example, enabling breakout rooms, managing breakout rooms. If I click on that, it will tell me, it'll give me information how to be able to do that. So I want to encourage you that if there's something that you forget or you don't know how to do, use the support section of Zoom. It's very detailed. And there's a lot of times there's also a walkthrough, and that will be helpful for you. All right, and that is the end of our Zoom session. We did it in 1 hour. I wasn't sure we were gonna do it, but we did. Thank you guys so much. Any questions before we end for today?
Well, just a big thank you to you. You know, you've seen all the chats down here, and I echo all of those words of thanks. Very helpful. I know I've learned a lot, but still I'm not ready to do it alone. So next week, Cecil, how about if I meet you on Zoom at 6:45, just to let me, all right?
You
okay,
betcha.
all right.
We'll do that. Karen.
Well done.
Cecil, I was just wondering, I don't have 2 monitors with my setup, but I do have an iPad and a laptop. So I'm wondering if I could run the main stuff on the laptop and the browser login on the iPad. Because you really just need that for the polls, right?
That's correct. Yes, you would need that for the polls. I think you can. Yeah. I would imagine that you should be able to edit polls from an iPad. I haven't tried it yet, but I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. So that's another option.
You're just in a Safari session on the iPad, so it's just like a browser. You know, it's just a browser session. Should work.
Yeah.
Great.
The thing that I can think of that might just slow you down a bit is the actual typing of each part. That might slow you down a little bit. Typing each name and then saving and all of that bouncing around. But other than that, I don't think it should be a problem.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for Karen and Brad. Once I host a meeting, do I get 2 stars? 3. I'm just wondering, is it 2 or 3?
Good question.
Good question.
As many stars as you want.
Oh, that's right. How many stars do I get for doing this?
It's a lot. It is very involved. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to make sure to kind of prepare everyone in advance. Prepare to do a lot of multitasking. You're going to be doing a lot of jumping around. And this is why also we wanted to make sure that Zoom host was a separate role in and of itself. Can you imagine doing this and doing other things at the same time? You're going to die.
You couldn't. It'd be impossible.
I've done that. I've been timer and Zoom host. That's a challenge.
Oh my gosh.
It is. But the good news is the skills that you learn in Zoom, so many companies now use Zoom for their company meetings. So now you know how to be able to do polls. You know how to be able to do breakout sessions. You can do that for your company now and be able to host Zoom sessions as well. So it's got a lot of transferable skills. It's tricky, but once you get comfortable, it's going to move a lot faster.
We could also even use Zoom polls as a speaker, since we know how to do it. We would just need to get the permissions.
Now that's a great idea. If you want to make your talk at your company meeting more interactive, you can set up a poll in the middle of your speech. You said, I'm going to launch a poll. What do you think? And then you can use that to add engagement to your meeting. You can use remote control the way I did. You wanted to show someone how to do something. I have parents that have trouble working. working on specific, websites. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you control. Show me how you're doing it. And then I can sort of give them guidance, and it makes it easier to help them that way. Awesome. So I'm hoping that this has been useful for you. As always,
Yes.
if you want any help, please just let us know, and I'll be more than happy. I'm sure any of the BERT officers, I'm going to be speaking for them, that they'll be happy to be co-hosts to give you support. That's what we're here for. And I will make the recording available to the BERT members. I'm going to put it in a private channel so that everyone can access it. Thank you guys so much.
Excellent.
I-
Well
I
done.
would-
Well done, Cecil.
Well done.
Yes.
I'm gonna practice on my family. I got a business Zoom for my company. I'm gonna practice on my family. The next Zoom meet we have. We're gonna take a poll.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be
I'm
awesome.
gonna pray y'all up.
All right, so I will process the
Great job,
recording,
Cecil.
and
Thank
I will send the link out to everyone. Thank you so much for joining
Good.
in, and I will
Thank
see you
you.
guys next week.
Next
Thank you,
week.
Cecil.
Bye.
See you
Thank you
then.
so much, Cecil.
Right.
Very valuable.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Thank
And
you.
Karen, according to your email, this will give me